So recently I watched Governor Tim Walz's appearance on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, where they said this.
You know, you bring up an interesting point because we talk a lot about it's this red-blue divide or it's these different things. What about the rural and urban divide? Because it really does seem as though policies for one group very difficult to apply to another group. And when we talk about even like with guns, you know, guns in rural America means a very different thing than guns in places where it's more densely populated.
Yeah, but dead children in their schools means the same thing in rural areas.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where that piece. Look, I understand that that's happened. I won a congressional seat, the second Democrat in over 100 years in a red district. Donald Trump won that district by like 17 points in 2016.
Your district.
My district, and I still won again. I haven't changed them. Now that district has changed. Would I win that district today? It would be a tough race, I think, as compared to where it was.
Right.
But the issues have not changed for them. And I think this issue around guns especially, being a gun owner, responsible gun owners know that you can protect the Second Amendment, but your first responsibility is those kids. And you can do red flag laws. You can do extreme risk protection orders, background checks, and you can do getting assault weapons out of the streets. And
Jon Stewart mentioned that guns in rural America mean something very different than in densely populated areas. But here's the thing. The Second Amendment doesn't change based on your location. Maybe your tactics change. Maybe the way you carry may change. But the Second Amendment is the Second Amendment. It's a right that applies equally to all Americans, whether you're in a small town or a big city. What he's trying to do is pigeonhole the Second Amendment into the realm of hunting in rural America. He's just trying to avoid saying that because over the past few years, we in the gun community have debunked this idea that the Second Amendment has anything to do with hunting. So now they've relegated themselves to saying there's a distinction between rural and urban America when it comes to guns. This is a common tactic that they're using now to justify banning semi-automatic rifles, but make it seem like they're still supporting the Second Amendment. If they can reduce it to just hunting, whether obviously or not very obviously, they can chip away at it without most people really noticing it. By creating this distinction, they're also attempting to split the gun community in half. You see, there are those in the gun community we sometimes call FUDs, gun owners who really only care about traditional style firearms like bolt-action rifles and shotguns with wood on them and stuff. The idea of an AR-15 is essentially foreign to them because they just didn't grow up during a time where they really saw them like that. And they're just too married to the nostalgia of the guns of yesteryear and view guns like the AR-15 as some sort of tactical alchemy that they want no parts of. But generally speaking, they kind of just leave it there as their just own personal preference in terms of style of firearms and generally don't vote against 2A rights. But by driving a wedge between these traditionalists and the rest of the pro-Second Amendment community by way of saying, hey, you can still be seen as supporting the Second Amendment as long as you just don't support those type of guns over there. You can still keep all of the guns you grew up with. Yeah, you'll be fine. But you're just gonna get rid of these ones over here. It essentially creates a divide where now these FUDs are thinking, maybe I could vote for this particular gun control policy and I'm still Second Amendment. And that's what these anti-gun politicians and talking heads are hoping will happen. They want them to quietly support policies that restrict semi-automatic rifles because they think we don't need those anyway. And before you know it, restrictive laws pass with support from gun owners themselves. These are essentially the I am a gun owner but types. Governor Walz embodies this. He talks about being a gun owner and supporting common sense gun laws like red flag laws, extreme risk protection orders, and background checks and banning so-called assault weapons. But let's look at the facts. According to FBI data, handguns are used in a majority of mass shootings and school shootings, not the semi-automatic rifles they're so eager to ban. In a report analyzing active shooter incidents from 2000 to 2019, the FBI found that handguns were the most commonly used weapon. Moreover, while any loss of life is tragic, the number of mass shootings and school shootings is small compared to the number of defensive gun uses each year. According to a report by the CDC, firearms are used defensively by law-abiding citizens anywhere from 500,000 to over 3 million times a year. Semi-automatic rifles, the firearms they're trying to ban, are also used for self-defense. Millions of Americans own these type of rifles for purposes including home defense. So it's simple logic that these rifles are used more often by law-abiding citizens to protect themselves than they are used to commit crimes. At the end of the day, we all want safer communities and schools. No one is arguing against that, but we need to have a real conversation that respects constitutional rights and tackles the actual issues, like enforcing existing laws, addressing mental health, and improving security measures in our schools. So Governor Walz, Jon Stewart, man, cut the BS. Stop trying to divide us with these distinctions and fake terms. Let's address the real problems without infringing on the rights of responsible gun-owning Americans. And one more thing. You see, hoodie season is here. You know what that means. That means you need to head over to shop.mrcolionnoir.com and grab some of our premium embroidered hoodies like the one that I'm wearing right now from our Keep America Tactical line. Now, this comes in all 50 states, whichever state of your choosing, whatever state you happen to be in, or whatever state you're loyal to. And it comes in the hoodie, it comes in hats, it comes in t-shirts, you name it. So I'm gonna put a link in the description section so you can check some of these hoodies out and some of the other gear that we have on the store. And for those of you who are starting to go out and do more shooting now that the weather's getting a lot better, make sure you protect your hearing with my favorite wireless Bluetooth hearing protection, the AKT1 Blackouts. They have a 25 dB noise reduction rating. They have Bluetooth so you can listen to your music and take phone calls, but it also has active noise cancellation, and you have the ability to hear everything around you and still protect your hearing with our auto blocking feature on here. So protect your hearing, enjoy your shooting, enjoy your music, and go to shop.mrcolionnoir.com and get your AKT1s today. One thing's for certain and two things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you. And we're all fighting this culture war together. Now you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.